The day that you wake up and you think you've got this thing figured out is the first day that your business starts shrinking because you have stopped developing. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your coach, Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. In this episode, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Actually, this episode and next. Very recently, I was up in Greenville, South Carolina. I spoke at one of my clients' private event. The client's called Fiduciary Alliance. And what I did a talk. We titled it 30 Years of Coaching Wisdom in 30 Minutes, which actually went to 45 minutes. But while that video is private and I won't be able to share that presentation with you, I thought I would kind of do a version of it here. And what was really cool about that was there was no deck, no slides, no real agenda. I literally got up on stage and literally spoke from the heart about what I've observed in 31 and a half years of just coaching financial advisors. So what I'm going to do in part one here is just kind of take some of those elements, share them with you. And what I would recommend you do, quite frankly, is either bookmark, whether you're doing the audio or the video piece here, what elements, and I'm going to be pretty tight with the different ideas and observations and stuff like that, and just see kind of what resonates with you. And again, if you're brand new in the business or just a couple of years, this will hopefully take years off your development cycle and you won't be optimizing for the wrong thing. And if you've been in the game for a while, this may help you fine tune what you're doing and help you move along a little bit quicker, okay? And there's no particular order to this too, by the way. So I have some notes, just some concepts on the side here, which you don't need to see, and we're gonna get going. So, one of the things after 30 some odd years is that it really hasn't changed very much what makes somebody successful in this game. It still comes down to drive, competitiveness, commitment, consistency. Yes, we've gone from dropping tickets, and some of you don't even know what that means, to today being very very planning and asset management centric, right? So I've watched all that evolve, and I'm going to be very excited to see over the next 5 years how artificial intelligence plays a very, very big part in our game going forward. So it's like sports, right? So is football the same as it was 20 years ago? No, the rules are different. Baseball, rules are different, right? Hockey, rules are different. But what makes a world-class athlete is still true. What makes a world-class advisor is still true, right? So one of the things that's critical, and again, I don't care if you're year 1 in business or you're 30 in business or anywhere in between, it doesn't matter. You must always be developing yourself. The day that you wake up and you think you've got this thing figured out is the first day that your business starts shrinking because you have stopped developing. So you want to grow your business, grow yourself. And I know that sounds overly simplistic, but so many advisors fail to see it. They think, I need more marketing. I need a better compliance situation. I need better pricing. I need all these things. Or what they're looking for is really the silver bullet, the hack, right? The go around. And I'm here to tell you, they don't exist. They just don't, right? Because if they did exist, this would be true. Any advisor who deployed that strategy, hack, whatever it is, then you'd all grow your businesses. It would be immutable, right? As a law. And we just know it's not true. Some people are good at digital marketing. Some people suck at it. Some people get great at getting referrals. Other people suck at it. Some people are really good with COIs. Other people suck at it, right? So guess what? There's nothing universal. Except learn how to develop yourself. So what does that mean? That means is somewhere between, listen to me, this is really important. Somewhere between 5 and 10% of your top line revenue needs to be reinvested back into you. Period. It's just what has to be. And some are saying, well, what does that mean? Well, maybe you need advanced training. Maybe you need to go find a coach. Maybe you need some accountability. Maybe you need a personal trainer. Maybe you need a nutritionist, right? Like all those things, at the end of the day, you are, and this is the other piece of it, like you are the product. A lot of advisors think, well, it's their thing they do, right? Oh, it's our planning process, or our asset management piece, or. No, those are all secondary. Primary is you. Whether it's you in a solopreneur type scenario where you've got to persuade prospects and COIs to do business with you, or you're leading a team and you have to still persuade prospects and COIs to do business with you, and have your team follow you in a leadership role, right? I mean, what you think about that? So developing yourself as a leader, a mentor, a coach, all those things, critically important for your long-term success, okay? Next piece, do designations matter? Yes, but no. And what I mean by that is if you want them, great, but don't sit there and be under the delusion, oh, I'm going to go get several designations that will make me more successful. No, it's going to make you real smart. It's going to make you smarter, right? It will give you some social proof. But can we sit there and say, hey, go get a CFP, you'll double your business. Go get a whatever, AIF, SEMA, whatever. I don't even see what it is anymore. It's something different today. Or CFA. No, it will not. I work with some very smart people, have MBAs, advanced degrees, stuff like that. And shockingly, right, they still struggle. So guess what? While it's nice to have, don't be under the illusion that that's going to make the difference. Like if somebody said to me, and I'll give you a scenario. Like several years ago, I had a new advisor. They heard me speak. I was at a conference, and they came up to me, and we're talking about investing, right? And he goes, I'm really thinking about going to my CFP. I'm going to invest in, or maybe it was, it was CFA. That's what it was, CFA. And I go, okay, well, walk me through it. He goes, well, I want to have more credibility, da-da-da-da. So if somebody says they want more credibility, that means they have a self-image problem, more often than not, right? So, and I'll just say, look, I'm pretty blunt here. Look, the guy's probably 50 pounds overweight and looked like he can see the inside of a gym since grade school. And I'm trying to be nice. So I'm sitting there going, my brain's going, yeah, let's go get some letters after our name. That's not going to fix you. And I said, look, man, I appreciate the CFA thing. And while I think that's a good idea down the road, I think the first thing you got to do is take care of you. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, look, bluntly, when you get up in the morning and look in the mirror, what do you see? And his face dropped. Yeah, man, that thing. So you think that if I get some letters after my name, I'll have more credibility. Well, that'll make you smarter for sure. But any credibility that would be gained, your own personal self-image will cancel it out. Plus. So I said, if you really want to do something for you, your client, your family, everyone, make a commitment to becoming the best physical version of you. I don't need you to be an elite athlete. I don't need you to run Ironmans or anything like that. I need you fit. I need you healthy. And I'm telling you right now, if you were to do that, you would definitely grow your business. Because that's been what I've observed over my career. So make a long story short, I had to deal with this company. So 6 months later, I'm doing something. So 6 months later, I'm back doing another thing for them. And he's there. Or I should say, a smaller version of him was there. He lost like I think 40 pounds. And he came up to me like so excited. He goes, man, I just want to thank you. Like, I hit the gym. I got a nutritionist. I broke all my bad habits. And I've lost 40 pounds. My business is up about 40% year over year. Thank you. Now, I didn't do that. He did it. No, he did the work. He lifted the weights. He didn't eat the food, right? So I'm just saying, like a lot of you think that there's this thing out there that's going to somehow bypass the hard work part. And it doesn't exist. It just doesn't. I used to say believed, I now know it to be a fact, that our industry overvalues intellectual capital, i.e. knowing stuff, and it undervalues emotional capital, understanding stuff, like yourself, like others, right? So I think that's super critical. What's next? FOMO, fear of missing out. This is pervasive in our industry, right? People just if I don't do it, you see the latest AI-driven marketing tool or anything like that, and you're like, I gotta have it. Or you do these, and there's nothing wrong with them. I got clients that do pretty much everything, but it's not for everybody, right? So some people are like, oh man, so-and-so's doing this online marketing thing. I gotta do it now, and like, dude, you're not organized for it. It'll fail just because somebody else can. And I'm gonna get into names, but I've got several clients who do. Kind of I would say probably the largest or best known third-party lead gen program out there. You know what I mean? And I got guys who will bring in anywhere from $25 to $35 million a year on that. And I know advisors who do zero with it because they suck at it, right? So guess what? Again, everything works for somebody. What's going to work for you? If you're not naturally organized and you're already overwhelmed, the last thing you need to be doing is try and chase a bunch of strangers down on the phone. Just what is, right? So just because something else works, and this is what, and I'm going to say this again without getting to names or anything like this, but there are a lot of vendors, especially marketing vendors, I would say, who really prey on advisors' insecurities and FOMO. And they get you to buy something even though you're not sure how. You hope it works, but unless you can really deploy it and execute, it probably won't. What's next? 2 things that will absolutely crush your goals, dreams, and visions. Your ego and arrogance. Now, why do I say that? It takes a village. It really does. Like, I look at my top clients. I sit on their team, obviously, as their personal coach, but they have a nutritionist. They may have a marketing consultant, HR consultant. Again, I'm talking about larger enterprise level practices. But there's a tribe. And a lot of advisors are just like lone rangers. Like, I don't need any help. I'll figure it out. And then 20 years later, guess what they're saying? I don't need any help. I'll figure it out. Duh. If you haven't figured it out by now, chances are you're not. Now, what does that mean? You'll still make some money. You won't fail out of business. But you're never going to accomplish what you set out to accomplish, and you'll blame everybody else but yourself. That's true. Because if you're egotistical and arrogant, it can never be your fault, right? It's always everybody else's fault. And when I was in front of the room of advisors at this conference speaking, I said, what's fascinating to me is that the people that will hire me, you would think don't need to hire me, right? Like the people already doing 7 figures, but they want to do multiple 7 figures, right? Like you would think well, they already cracked the code. Like, what do they need you for? And then there'll be a guy after 15, 20 years in the business, can't crack $250,000, And he's all arrogant because he thinks he knows it all, and it's everybody else's fault. And it just blows me away. Hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. Like how just untrue that is, right? I mean, it just is. And so why? Ego and arrogance. Just is. And I will say this to you because I suffer from this too. So, I'm always going to try to interject my personal scenarios. Like when I left Tony Robbins years, this like decades ago, right? The organization, like I was just like I was determined to make it on my own, and I was also determined to make it on my own without anybody's help. Like no consultants, no coaches, nothing like that. I'm just going to bear down and do it. And that was a massive mistake on my part. I lost probably a decade. My business truly took off when I became coachable. And to this day, I invest 6 figures in coaches and concierge doctors and because I've got my team to make me the best version of who I am, mentally, emotionally, physically. But for years, I didn't do that because I thought I knew better. Like I'm in the business. Like I don't need that. A terrible idea that was. Here's what I'm going to say to you. If you're not where you want to be, and you've been not where you want to be year upon year after year after year, maybe it's time to change it up. Just suggesting that maybe you approach your game a little bit differently. And here we are, almost really when this thing drops, it'll be almost November. Like 2026 is around the corner. Your die is pretty cast for 2025. Don't make another mistake. If you're not happy with your 2025 results, do yourself a big favor. Do something different. Not career-wise, just approach. Like just do something different. Makes all the difference in the world. Okay? Super important. What else? You all want it yesterday. So in other words, you're very impatient / you lack patience. Now, how does that affect us? A lot of times strategies, especially marketing strategies, especially business development strategies, take time to develop. We'll talk about momentum. Well, you can't roll the rock quick day one. It doesn't work that way. You just got to get it to move a little bit, right? And I find advisors will get into stuff, they don't see an immediate result, and they'll abandon it. And the best case I can ever give you are COIs. I don't care how you want to label them, CPAs, attorneys. I can give you a whole 15 other examples of COIs. But here's what most advisors do. They'll meet with like 3 or 4 or 5 CPAs. I'll just use them for a second. And, means okay, but nothing happens. Because you're under the delusion that, if I met with them and they like me and I like them, well, things are just going to magically happen. No. But then you'll go and say, well, I don't know how to do it, or it doesn't work for me, right? I can't get CPAs to refer me. I said, well, and I'm thinking about a story very specifically. One of my clients, when we first started working together, we were talking about just business development. I said, okay, so we got referrals, we got optimization. Let's talk about a CRI game. He goes, Joe, I can't do COIs. It's never worked for me. I said, they've never come through. I said, well, unpack that for me, right? And he goes, well, years ago, and there we go, I met with 5 different CPAs of my clients. We all had great lunch meetings. And, I got a couple of referrals from one, and then like nothing else. I said, okay. How many clients you have? 400. Okay. How many CPA and attorneys do you think that is? Can we say 200? 150? Right? I heard a speaker, same conference from First Trust, great speaker. He said the average, quoting, maybe misquoting him, the average advisor has access to 112 centers of influence through their clients. 112. So let's just use that number. You met with 5. And I'll ask the question this way. Like for most of you, if you had like less than 1 hand, less than 5, let's say 3 or 4 real solid COIs that could refer you an A-level client once a quarter, like 4 times a year, you're good. Most of you would be good, golden, like sign me up. But here's the rub. To get the 4, you may have to meet with 40 or 60 or 100. None of you are really ready. Most of you, actually none, I'll rephrase that. Most of you will not, you'll say intellectually ready to do that. Then you won't. Why? Won't happen fast enough. Won't get the sugar high. Won't be patient enough. And away we go. And I was in front of the room talking. I said, you guys get so impatient. You got to remember some COIs. That's strategic. That's us measured in quarters. And I kind of use this example. I said, let's say this way. Let's say you want 5 COIs. And I said to get 5 COIs to play ball, like really refer you, like once a quarter, right? Keep it, palatable. 5 times 4 is 20. Most of you don't need 20 great clients a year, but you'll take them, right? I said, but what happens if it takes 100 meetings to find the 5? And the 5 would not show up to the 51st, like you get the first one on meeting 51. So in other words, the first 50, nothing happens. Just sunk cost, right? How many of you would do it? How many of you would go through 50 meetings and then the 51st one, you get somebody to play ball with you? Then maybe 61, you get one, and 71, you get where I'm going. Like how many of you would really take that long-term approach? I see it all the time. Got to have it yesterday. Doesn't work like and so here's what happens. I'm going to put this campaign together or this program, or I'm going to deploy this strategy. You do it for a little bit. You see nothing happening. Oh, that doesn't work. On to the next silver bullet, right? That would be like a farmer planting seeds, watering it, fertilizing it for a couple of weeks. Nothing comes out of the ground. Says, well, this stuff doesn't work. So let's plow it under and let's start over. You'll starve. We keep doing that. But that's what a lot of advisors do. Just do. What else is true? That ultimately, what you need to understand is this the people business. And I know that, AI is here and all this other stuff, but look, the people have the money today, that the people who care about, right? Not the 20, look, I'm not talking about the 20-something-year-old, okay? They'll have money in like 30 years. I'm talking about now. It's people business. It still is. And it will be for the foreseeable future, right? Joe, would you think one day there'll be? Yeah, probably. Like when it's just all Autobots and AI and stuff like that. Sure. I see that. Maybe in 30 years, 20 years. And I know somebody say, oh, Joe, it's going to happen faster than that. Here's my pushback. Technically right now, the systems and code are available where a plane, a commercial airliner, can be piloted remotely. The technology exists. Military uses it all the time. And pilots are expensive. Well, how come we don't have AI or maybe just one pilot, not 2? You know why? Because nobody get on the plane. Because you want to have a human being. Technology exists today to do high-level surgeries with robots called, I think one of them's called like a Da Vinci robot. So what I actually do, it'll do very intricate surgeries, right? But it's not going to be at your bedside when you wake up and see how you are. It's a tool, right? It's a true story. A client of mine a couple months ago, like he texted me a video. He was in a self-driving taxi, no driver. And I was like, bro, I give you credit for that, man. I don't know if I can jump in that, right? Because self-preservation, right? Driver's not going to kill himself or herself. So where am I going with this? People still want to deal with people to things that matter, right? They just do. So I don't buy the whole AI thing is going to take over. I think it's going to be a tool to use, right? So what else is true? Your business will only go as far as your mindset. So I want you to think of it this way and kind of who you are today. And I'm going to give you, because I think some of you are under the belief that you can't change. And I'm going to prove to you that's totally wrong. So I want you to think back to the first year in the business. And now you've been in the business 30 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. I want you to think back to the first year in the business. And I want you to think back, and I want you to think about today. Are you the same person you were when you started? Yes or no? Are you the same person you were 5 years ago? No. Are you the same person you were 3 years ago? No. So guess what? You change. You evolve. But wouldn't it be really cool to harness that and do it intentionally and not just hope it works out okay, right? You can create different versions of you. I did. I'm on version 3.0. First 25 years of my coaching career was 1.0. It was okay. I made some good money, stuff like that. Said, after my 25th anniversary, you know what? I got to play a bigger game. The current version of me won't play that game successfully, so I better reinvent myself. I did. Business tripled, right? Did that for 5 years. Great. Now we're on 3.0. Why? Because my bigger game, the current version of me couldn't accomplish it. I need a new version. And I do it with intentionality. And we're off to the races again. But most of you sit there and say, well, I'm just who I am. I like who I am. You can like yourself, but understand it's not going to get you to where you want to go. Okay? And if you're one of those people who said, I am who I am, excuse my language, respectfully, you're screwed. Period. And that's where you get into this conversation with yourself. And this is what one of the observations is. Advisors will find all these different narratives and stories and strategies to mask what's really going on or why things aren't really happening, which is the person in the mirror, not anything else. And like, oh, my firm doesn't let me. So here's what I say. What firm you at? X. Okay. So you're doing X production. Yes. The top person in the firm, they're doing 10 times as much production as you. Same environment, same set of rules, same everything. What's the difference? And I know with the narrative, oh, that person get all support. Like that's because that's what you're going to tell yourself because it can't be you. Hell no. Right? Can't be. It is. When I looked at myself in the mirror now, let's see, 6 years ago, when I totally was frustrated with 1.0. Totally frustrated. I had to have my meeting with me. And I had to not BS myself. And when I got that clarity, everything changed. And that's what I teach. Here's what, and like I said, we're going to do part 2, so I want to wrap this up. I'll close with this. One of the reasons why you don't think your goals are big enough or you don't get excited about really, really going for it. And this is just a human nature thing. We all, if I said to you, let's just say you're doing $500,000. And I said, what is your grand vision of what you want? And let's say you said, I want to be a $5 million producer in the next 10 years. Here's what happens. You take that big vision of 5 million and you filter it through the current version of you, which is a $500,000 version, not even $1 million version. And here's what it sounds like. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know how to do that. I know it's worth doing it. I don't have the resources. Like the brain talks itself out of things to save itself. Right? And I was there, man. I get it. I do. So when you sit there and say, well, wait a second, I want to be a $5 million producer. You know what I would do? Okay, how do they think? Not like what do they do, but what do they think? How do they think? What do they believe in? What's the narrative in their mind? Like that's what you got to think about. Not like, well, like what do they do? Nothing, probably not much different than what you're doing now. But it's a much bigger game because their mindset's different. And that's what I want to leave you guys with on part 1. This is the mindset game. Period. End of story. It was all about education and tools. Whoever had the most degrees, whoever had the biggest budget would be a top producer. Period. End of story, unequivocally. And we know simply that's not true. Okay? So I want to thank you all for spending some time with me. I know you're busy. If this resonated with you, or you know a young advisor, or maybe somebody's been around for a while that can use these little ideas, please feel free to pass along. Like today's video. Make sure you subscribe. We did deploy, and for you guys inside of Magellan Network, you know, version 2.0 of my Coach Joe AI clone. It's crushing it. Very, very powerful resource. So if you want to have a look-see at that, just go to MagellanNetwork.net, put an application in for a trial membership. You get the whole thing for 30 days, and love to get some feedback from you. So with that said, have a great weekend. Happy Halloween. See you guys in 7 days. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.